My boyfriend is an idol. This beautiful love affair started in a way that no one could have imagined. All from an incredibly ugly picture. Amanda. Is this the masterpiece you spent all night working on? The boss pointed at a picture on the laptop screen. The colors were so saturated that it was almost as colorful as a rainbow. He raised an eyebrow. Behind the boss sat the popular young actor, Ethan. He was my idol. How could our first meeting be like this? I looked extremely embarrassed and strange as I met Ethan's amber eyes that were full of wildness. Ethan was sitting on the chair, playing with the silver ring on his thumb, and looking at me with a playful expression as I panicked. Director, please give me another chance. I promise I'll finish this poster before lunch. I definitely won't delay tomorrow's fan meeting, I said earnestly, trying my best to suppress the panic in my heart. All right, since our big boss values you so much, I'll give you another chance. The boss pushed the frame of his glasses on his nose and put away the fierce look on his face that he turned to look at Ethan, bowing and scraping, with a warm smile on his face. Mr. Ethan, do you have any other instructions? I want to sit behind her and watch her work. Ethan crossed his left leg over his right leg and pointed at me with his right ring finger, his eyes indifferent. So, I sat at my workstation, and Ethan sat behind me, for the whole morning. I concentrated on my work while trying to control the fluttering of my heart that I managed to complete the arduous task of the TV drama promotion poster before 12 o'clock. I turned my head, wanting Ethan to take a look and see if there were any places that needed to be revised. Unexpectedly, his handsome face was very close to a place not far from my workstation. There was only the distance of a finger between us, and our eyes met. I saw a trace of panic flash in Ethan's eyes. Even if it was just a tiny bit, I quickly turned around and pretended that nothing had happened. I tried to put on a calm look and said, Mr. Ethan, do you think there's anywhere that needs to be changed? No, it's great. His lazy and gentle voice was the one that I had listened to repeatedly on my phone through the screen countless times. Today, I finally heard it live. I didn't dare to look back at him. Unexpectedly, in front of me, a straight thumb appeared. Ethan gave me a big thumbs-up gesture with his hand. I secretly glanced at the white but muscular lines on Ethan's arm and swallowed quietly. Thank you for your approval, Mr. Ethan, I replied respectfully, but my mind had already wandered. I didn't even dare to take a deep breath as I clicked the save button and sent it to the boss. A few minutes later, the boss replied with an okay. The heart that had been hanging in the air finally settled down. I stood up and was about to walk out of the office when that charming voice sounded again from behind me. Hey, wait a moment. Miss, could you please bring me something to eat? I stood there, with one foot still, and stiffly turned around. The movement was just like drawing a circle with a compass. Me, I pointed at myself, hardly believing it. My assistant is busy with other things. I'm sorry to trouble you, Ethan said casually. But I usually eat boxed meals. I don't know what you, as a celebrity, like to eat. Don't be so formal. I can't take it. I'll eat whatever you eat, Ethan replied crisply. He was so down to earth. No wonder he was the one Amanda, liked. I secretly rejoiced in my heart. On the way out of the office, I walked like a gentle and elegant lady. As soon as I walked out of the office door, knowing that Ethan couldn't see me, I ran all the way, just like a wild boy. I handed the boxed meal to Ethan with both hands. Here's your meal, Mr. Ethan. Ethan stopped playing the game in his hand, glanced at me, and a smile appeared on his cold face. Don't be so nervous. Sit down. I kept my eyes focused on the lunchbox. As for Ethan sitting opposite me, I didn't dare to look at him. Why are you so nervous? I'm not a tiger. Do you usually play games? Ethan asked while eating and playing the game in his hand. No, I don't. I stuffed food into my mouth like a duck being force-fed. Do you have a boyfriend? No. Do you have someone you like? Yes. No. I mean, no. Do you or don't you? Ethan stopped playing the game and looked at me, wanting to confirm the answer. No, I answered slowly, still not looking at him. The person you like is me, isn't it? Ethan said directly. I stopped the chopsticks in my hand. The French fries that I had just put in my mouth almost all came out. When you went to buy food, I saw a folder named Love on your computer desktop. I opened it and saw that it was full of my photos. When I heard him say that he had opened that folder, I instinctively looked up at him and said, "I'm full. Mr. Ethan, you can eat slowly." I smiled at him awkwardly and fled in a hurry with the lunchbox. How could I have known that one day my idol would watch me work behind me and even have lunch with me? The photos in that folder were my savior when I was sleepy at work. There were Ethan's stills from dramas, his casual photos, and of course, his photos showing his abs. Ah, I was so embarrassed. I vowed that I would never go to Ethan's concerts, fan meetings, or press conferences again, but unexpectedly, my best friend, Lily, knew that Ethan was going to hold a fan meeting in New York, where I lived. So, to give me a surprise, she secretly stayed up all night to buy tickets and actually got them. Lily knew best that Ethan was the whole of my 5-year college life. For me, he was like a god, the unforgettable love in my life. But she didn't know how awkward my situation had been recently. Why did I say 5 years of college? Let me explain. I was originally in a junior college and then transferred to a university. I'm naturally competitive. And there's nothing I can do about it. That my life is all about constantly getting stronger and developing. Well, now that the tickets were bought, it was my best friend's kind intention. I was forced into a corner and had no choice but to go. Since I decided to go, I dressed up carefully for myself. I put on a beautiful makeup and wore a white evening gown. In the mirror, I looked tall and slender, with a graceful figure, my long black wavy hair draped over my shoulders, making me look even more mature and charming. That I have to say that Lily was really lucky. Not only did she get the tickets, but she also got a special seat number, row 5, seat 20. That I sat quietly in the fan audience, looking at Ethan on the stage, who was shining brightly. He was wearing a blue shirt and white trousers today, looking very fresh and capable. When it came to the fan interaction session, Ethan stood on the stage holding a microphone and reading out the seat numbers of the lucky audience members that were drawn. The whole audience was cheering and shouting, "Pick me! Pick me!" I secretly lowered my head. That I was both excited and scared that he would pick me. Row 3, seat 27. Row 9, seat 01. Row 14, seat 05. Row 15, seat 30. Row 5, seat 20. The moment I heard Ethan call out my number, I was so excited that I almost jumped up from my seat in the audience. I looked towards Ethan in the distance, and my heart immediately tensed up again. His words from that day kept playing over and over in my head. "The person you like is me, isn't it?" And that sexy photo of Ethan with his abs showing, which was both eye-catching and a bit embarrassing. The lucky fans gradually walked towards the stage. At this moment, Ethan saw me in the white evening gown. I don't know if it was the stage lights or something else, but I saw a twinkle in Ethan's eyes, and there seemed to be a hint of joy, because of what had happened before. I felt a bit guilty, so I deliberately slowed down my steps and was the last one to reach the stage. Standing quietly at the position farthest from Ethan, unexpectedly, the host came over and said to me kindly, "Dear fan, please come to the middle. The place you're standing is almost out of the frame." Just like that, I was pulled to Ethan's side. Ethan looked at me, standing beside him with an embarrassed look on my face. A mischievous smile appeared in the corner of his eyes, and then he naturally and gracefully turned towards the camera. His expression returning to normal, the host said again, "Fans participating in this session, your special treat is here. You can take photos with your idol Ethan for a memento. After that, the staff will send the photos to you." With other fans, Ethan either made a peace sign or struck a cool pose. But when it came to me, he actually spread his arms and, for the first time ever, made a heart shape with his hands for me. Ethan's action caused a huge scream from the fans in the audience. After the interaction session, I ran off the stage in a hurry with my phone and sat back in my seat. But I found that Ethan on the stage still had his eyes fixed on me. This time, the host spoke again. "Not only is our Ethan handsome, but our Ethan's fans are also very beautiful, right?" The fans below cheered. "Yes, of course. This sentence should be answered by Ethan himself." The host added, "Yes, they are all very beautiful, and also very cute." Ethan brought his face close to the microphone. As he said this, his bright eyes winked at me. Was he flirting with me? The audience cheered again. Ethan. Ethan. Crazy about you. Ethan. Ethan. Invincible in the world. The noise around me was so loud that my head felt like it was about to explode. I covered my ears with both hands. But my eyes met Ethan's warm smile when I got back to my small rented apartment. I took off the white dress, put on comfortable pajamas, and lay on the bed to scroll through videos. Suddenly, a new message popped up in my WhatsApp list. Chocolate sauce requests to add you as a friend. There was also an additional message in the chat box. I'm an employee of Mr. Ethan's studio. I'll send you the photos. I clicked agree to accept it. I gave a memorable note to this contact. Crazy Handsome Studio. The other side quickly sent the photo that Ethan took of me. In the photo, I was dressed in a gorgeous and mature way, with a somewhat young face. My slightly stiff smile under the camera hid a bit of awkwardness. This was probably the ugliest photo of my expression that I had ever taken. But thinking that Ethan took it for me, I didn't hesitate to save it. Just as I was about to exit the chat box, the other side sent a string of words. Miss Amanda, congratulations on being a lucky fan. Wish you a good night and sweet dreams. I replied, okay, thank you. You should also go to bed early. I put down my phone and tossed and turned in bed. Unable to fall asleep, my mind went back to the time when I turned Ethan's promotion poster into a rainbow man. I suddenly sat up, picked up my phone, and decided to explain and apologize. Sorry, I still want to bother you. A few days ago, when I was editing the poster for Mr. Ethan's launch event, I accidentally made a mess of it. It was my fault. I will definitely work more carefully in the future and correct my careless mistakes. I hope you can convey this to Mr. Ethan. I sincerely apologize to you and Mr. Ethan. I waited and waited, but the other side didn't reply. My two thumbs quickly typed out a long string of words, but at the moment of sending, I quickly withdrew them. If I kept sending messages like this, they would definitely think I was annoying and might even block me as a fan. So, to be on the safe side, I put down my phone, tidied up, and was about to go take a shower. The moment I returned to the bedroom after taking a shower, I was stunned. My cat was on the bed, constantly poking my phone with its paws. I threw away the towel I was using to dry my hair and quickly ran to the bedside to pick up my phone. The chat box of the contact marked Crazy Handsome Studio was in chaos. My cat, with its meaty paw, had sent all the private photos stored in my phone, the photos I had photoshopped of Ethan carrying me in a princess hug, the kissing photos of me and Ethan, the photos of Ethan's abs, and my own sexy cat photos were all sent. Even more terrifying, the other side had replied, "This is Ethan." Below, the cat had replied with its paw. Ha ha ha, poop 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 poop. Looking at the words in the chat box, I almost went crazy that I wanted to recall the messages, but found that none of them could be recalled. I could only quickly explain below. Are you really Mr. Ethan? The other side. Sorry, Mr. Ethan. All those just now were typed by my cat. It wasn't me. I didn't watch it well. I'm so sorry. This time, the reply from the other side was quite fast. The photos were taken by you after all. You're that cat. I was really speechless and didn't know how to explain that. In the middle of the night, I received a WhatsApp message from Crazy Handsome Studio. Here's a chance for you to make amends. Next Friday, at the launch event, you'll wear a mascot costume and be the mascot. What? How could this happen? After all, he still had those photos. I didn't dare to disobey. I quickly replied with a okay and added a grin emoji. Then I immediately changed the note for Crazy Handsome Studio to Mr. Perfect. Despite the embarrassment, I had added my idol on WhatsApp after all. I held my phone, feeling extremely excited. Without paying attention, I rolled off the bed. On the day of the launch event, with the temperature reaching over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, I wore a thick cartoon mascot costume and, with cute gestures, went on stage with the big star Ethan. A bunch of DSLR cameras were clicking non-stop in the audience, and the flashlights were hurting my eyes. I stood obediently to the side, watching Ethan interact with the fans in games. I thought I would just stand there like a wooden stake until the end of the launch event. Who knew that the host came up with another unexpected idea? He said to the thousands of fans in the audience, "Is the mascot designed by Louise cute?" Almost in unison, the audience shouted, "Cute." Do you want to see Ethan interact with the mascot and perform a double cute combination? The screams from the audience came one after another. Yes. Wow. Oh. Ethan held the microphone, slightly turned his head and glanced in my direction, then covered his face with his hand. Even with my eyes closed, I knew he was laughing in his beard. Ethan took big strides towards me, to fulfill the fans' wishes. I could only act cute, jumping around like a little rabbit, seemingly cheerfully arriving beside Ethan, but those photoshopped scandalous photos from a few days ago on WhatsApp still lingered in my mind. Just when one problem was barely over, another one cropped up, and this new wave of embarrassing situations came so quickly. Under the host's guidance, Ethan did a series of actions to me, such as putting his arm around my shoulder, getting close-faced, and doing a wall slam to promote Louise shampoo. The host really had some wild ideas, finally, to show the brand's professionalism and how the shampoo is gentle on hair, capable of making hair look flowing. The host even asked Ethan to give me a head pat, patting the few-inch-long pink short fur on my mascot costume. Standing inside the mascot costume, looking through the mesh ventilation holes, I saw Ethan staring at me in the mascot costume. A sweet and gentle smile was sketched on his face. Under the spotlight, that soft smile was almost as cute as this mascot costume. Was I seeing things? Ethan, who always had a trendy and cool style, how could he have such a pure smile? It was stuffy and hot inside the mascot costume. I was swaying around, feeling like my whole body was about to fall apart. Finally, when the launch event ended and I could leave the stage, I waved my furry and cute little hand to say goodbye to the audience. The host even gave me a Q version doll of Ethan. After the launch event, I went back to the dressing room backstage, took off the heavy clothes and the headpiece. Looking at my wet head in the mirror and my makeup that was smeared like a panda's, I suddenly felt very annoyed. In a fit of anger, I went to the bar. I sat on a high-top chair, gulping down drinks while squeezing the Ethan doll in my hand and talking to myself. Just because you're a star and I like you, you think you can play tricks on me? I swear, one day I'll make you fall for me. I recorded a video as evidence that I was drunk. When I woke up the next day, I found myself lying on a large bed. The white sheets, the white walls, and the pink-colored heart-shaped ceiling. Could this be some kind of lover's hotel? Under the wine-red lights, I saw a trendy guy with an earring and a black t-shirt. This person was none other than Ethan. "What are you doing here?" I asked in surprise. "Don't you remember what happened last night?" Ethan ran his hand through his blonde hair, seeing the blank look in my eyes. He added, "Last night, after you got drunk, the bar owner couldn't wake you up, so he called the person in your WhatsApp with the note, Mr. Perfect. So I came. Later, I asked you where you lived, but you were so vague that I couldn't understand. So I had to get a hotel room and bring you here." I carefully looked at this man with dyed hair and dreadlocks in front of me. I didn't feel he was darling-like at all. I almost had a phobia of trendy guys. Ethan took a puff of his mint-flavored e-cigarette. "You were very rowdy last night." I didn't sleep well at all. I was rowdy last night. What did that mean? Did I do something indecent with him? I quickly lifted the quilt and found that my clothes were intact. A lazy and magnetic voice rang in my ear. "You drank a lot last night and threw up all over the place. That's the kind of rowdy I mean. Not what you're thinking." "What am I thinking? Since you don't know, do you want to experience it now?" Ethan's well-defined face suddenly moved closer to me. I saw a glimmer of fire in his beautiful eyes that I quickly turned my head and said shyly, "I didn't expect you. On screen you're like that. But in real life, you're so naughty." He smiled faintly, and I vaguely heard a voice, but I wasn't sure. "My naughtiness is only for my girl." After a few seconds of silence in the air, Ethan spoke again. "One more thing. I accidentally saw the video on your phone." He pressed play and placed the phone in front of me. I heard my own half-drunk voice in the video. saying those bold words about making him fall for me. I really wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Suddenly, my face felt very hot. It turned red all the way to the tips of my ears. You, what else did you see? I lowered my head and squeezed out these words. Your notes, photos, wallpaper. I saw everything I shouldn't have and everything I should have. Ethan said casually, and there seemed to be a hint of a mischievous smile in his tone. Was he really happy doing this? I really couldn't figure it out. I just hated that I hadn't set a password for my phone, you know. My phone wallpaper was of him, and the notes in my memo were my imaginary conversations with him. The words in it were extremely cheesy, and the photos, needless to say, were either of me or him. And there were also some photoshopped intimate photos. Who could have thought that one day my idol would be playing with my phone in his hands? That I was so angry that I blurted out. You violated my privacy. Ethan reacted extremely quickly. Well, you violated my right to my image then. I was suddenly at a loss for words. Ethan suddenly sat down on the bed. Because the mattress was so soft, my body swayed. I clutched the quilt in my hands and moved back a bit. Ethan's two long, white arms trapped me in the middle. His eyes stared straight at me like I was his prey. You like me so much. Is it just because I'm good-looking and a star? The question was right to the point. Well, I did fall for his looks at first, but eventually, it was his talent that made me stay. That I answered bravely and sincerely. Yes, at first. I liked you because you're handsome, but later, from your videos and interviews online, I found that you're not only gentle-natured but also hard-working and full of drive. You work hard on your acting and chase your dreams, so I like you even more. Whether ordinary or outstanding, I think everyone should have something to strive for. We were communicating face to face, with only the distance of a finger between us. Besides, Mr. Perfect, what other names have you called me in private? I pursed my lips tightly and didn't say a word because once I opened my mouth, it would be extremely embarrassing words. Are you going to tell me? If not, be careful. I might ask your boss to fire you. A smug smile spread across Ethan's face, both naughty and sweet. He leaned forward a bit, almost overbearing. I'll tell you. I used to call you, boyfriend, hubby, love. I closed my eyes tightly, wrinkled my brows, and said it out in extreme shame. One is enough. Why are you being so honest and saying three? I felt like my head was about to explode on the spot. That charming voice reminded me again of how clumsy I was. I opened my eyes wide and looked at Ethan in front of me. This man, who was so perfect on camera and on the screen, now had a trace of panic in his eyes. His handsome cheeks turned from fair to crimson. I glanced down and saw a round thing in his fair neck rolling quickly. Ethan suddenly let go of me, turned around, and sat straight on the bed. Fine, since you're so honest. I'll take you to a hot pot restaurant tonight. You rest first. Ethan took big strides towards the door. The blush on my face gradually faded. It was almost 12 o'clock at night when Ethan took me to a restaurant called Texas Smokehouse. Are you sure we're going here? Yeah. Ethan, wearing a black fishing hat, nodded. Aren't you afraid that someone will recognize us when we go in? You're a star after all. He wasn't nervous at all. But I was getting nervous because those paparazzi were really scary. Stop talking so much. Hurry up and go in. Ethan looked me up and down and then stepped into the restaurant with his long legs. I looked around and found that there weren't many people. Almost all the people sitting at the tables were couples. Does this hot pot restaurant have some special preference? Only receiving couples. I was muttering to myself in my mind when Ethan suddenly grabbed me and took me to the front desk. I saw on the promotional flyer at the front desk that it said, couples get 50 off. Now I finally understood why there were so many couples in the store. What flavor do you like? Ethan lowered his head and looked at me, who only reached his chest. I'm not picky. The cheapest one will do. Can you eat spicy food? I don't eat spicy food. Boss, bring us a roast beef. I picked up the menu and saw that the beef was the most expensive one on the single-page menu. Sir, if you bring your partner to eat at our store, You can get a 50 discount. Is this your girlfriend? The boss smiled and held the menu. Of course. She's my girlfriend. We want the mild broth. No chili. What? This guy just said I was his girlfriend. I stared at Ethan with wide eyes. As Ethan spoke, he pulled me into his arms. For the first time, I felt how warm a man's embrace could be, especially since it was Ethan, the idol I had always dreamed of. Although I was enjoying it, I still pretended to struggle shyly. As a result, he held me even tighter. Be good. His voice was so low that almost only I could hear it. His sword-shaped eyebrows lifted slightly. Instead of being fierce, it seemed cute to me. This little girl looks so cute. The boss looked at me and smiled when it came to eating. It was really just about eating. After Ethan and I found a seat by the window and sat down, besides the sounds of moving chairs, using chopsticks, and chewing food, there was really no other sound. I chewed the food in my mouth slowly and then buried my head in eating. I was so nervous that my mind went blank. After all, it was the first time I had eaten with a guy, and he was my idol. That I felt awkward not talking, but I didn't know what to talk about if I opened my mouth. Why are you only eating and not talking? I raised my eyes and saw Ethan's clear eyes staring at me. Then his gaze moved down and landed on my mouth, which was full of butter from the hot pot. Because the food is delicious, I said stupidly. Ethan, who was eating vegetables, was suddenly choked. After coughing twice, he burst out laughing. Is this the first time you've eaten with a guy? I bit the beef in my mouth and nodded mechanically. Is this your first time dating? Did he mean that I was dating him now? I chewed the food in my mouth, lowered my head, and didn't answer his question. Seeing that I didn't answer, Ethan didn't ask anymore. After eating the hot pot, Ethan insisted on walking me home. The dim streetlights made our shadows sometimes get closer and sometimes overlap, which was very ambiguous. I thought back to when we were eating and he said I was his girlfriend. Was it true or false? Halfway along the road, Ethan suddenly spoke up. What I said in the hot pot restaurant just now, about you being my girlfriend, I was serious. It wasn't just for the couple's 50 discount. Ah, it was really true. But when I looked at myself, I didn't think I was worthy of him at all. Apart from my face and figure, I had no money, no house, and no status. I don't believe you like me. You're a big star, and I'm not good enough for you. I paused in my steps, but my mind was clear. I'm serious. I can't really say what exactly I like about you, but you have a special attraction for me. I just want to be with you. Maybe it's because you're so innocent and have a strong sense of insensitivity that you don't realize it. As expected of Ethan, even when confessing, he could gain the upper hand that I couldn't hold it in and opened my mouth. Before me, did you flirt with girls like this? You're so handsome and have a sweet tongue. You must be able to charm any girl you want. I knew he was a big star and I was just an ordinary person. I didn't really have the right to be jealous, but I was anyway. No, I've only flirted with you. Is this also your first time dating? A big star, so handsome, having his first date. This was really explosive news. Yeah, just like you, it's my first time. Sure enough. He also guessed that it was my first time dating too. Ethan walked me to my rented apartment on the 6th floor of the building. I blocked the door, not wanting him to come in. We're here. Aren't you going to invite me in for a seat? The place is a mess inside. I'm afraid it will scare you. It wasn't really messy. I cleaned it once a day. What was messy was the countless posters of Ethan all over the wall. Ethan entered my room and saw the overwhelming posters of himself and that troublesome cat in the corner, which had been randomly using its paws to send photos. So this is what you call messy. You were probably afraid I'd see these posters, Ethan said, running his long fingers along one of the posters on the wall and smiling sweetly. That I lowered my head, my face turning a bit red, and didn't say anything. The cat didn't seem unfamiliar with Ethan. It wagged its tail and meowed affectionately, just like its owner. This cat was a fan of good looks. Ethan squatted down and gently stroked the cat's head. You live so far away and in such a simple place. It's not safe for a girl like you. I'll rent an apartment for you. It can also be closer to me. Ethan said as he stroked the cat's head and turned to talk to me. Ah. What are you ahhing for? I'm serious. I'm not kidding. I don't think it's a good idea. I'm already used to living in this kind of environment. Ethan stood up and walked in front of me. Do you not trust me? It's not that. I just don't understand why you like me and are so good to me. There are so many beautiful actresses around you. They have status and money, while I have nothing and have to squeeze into this shabby rented apartment to work and live. I finally dared to voice my doubts. Otherwise, I couldn't accept someone being nice to me for no reason. You're different from them. You're beautiful. And you live a beautiful life too. You're independent and have this fearless and hardworking spirit. When I added you on WhatsApp on my own initiative, it was because I could tell that you're a girl with personality and great ideas. I really admire and like that about you. That day, you were able to complete the high-intensity photo editing in such a short time. You must have put in a lot of hard work before. Working hard and steadily is good, but this job isn't really what I want. Besides work, I keep writing every day. Becoming a writer has always been my dream. The novel I'm writing, The Female Emperor, the musician, only has 4 or 5 chapters left before it's finished. Musician. Female emperor. So is your goal to be a female emperor? Can you include me in your harem then? Ethan looked at the novel I had published on the phone, the corners of his eyes lifting slightly, with a mischievous look on his face that I bumped him with my shoulder and said seriously, "Stop talking nonsense. Don't tarnish my work. I wrote a very righteous female protagonist. And I also hope that my friends in real life can live their lives boldly and passionately." Ethan immediately put away his playful expression, sat on the wooden stool, and started reading seriously. He opened the main page of the app and his eyes lit up immediately. Wow, you have so many followers on this app. 1 million fans follow you. The great writer named Sunny Sky. This female protagonist, Isabella, is so cool. But this male protagonist, Jax, is so weak and delicate, like a sickly little puppy. Ethan read it seriously, hearing my idol Ethan's words of surprise and admiration. I secretly felt delighted that I looked at him with a smile and said modestly, "No. I'm still nothing really. It's just barely passable." Ethan held the phone and read with great interest. Suddenly, he burst out laughing. "Your plot is both novel and funny. It's really interesting. But the male protagonist's character, it doesn't suit me at all." A frown suddenly appeared on Ethan's handsome face. "Do you mean you want to act in it?" "Exactly. I plan to recommend this novel to the director I've worked with before. If it can be filmed successfully, I can also take on a role that's very different from my own personality, even for your sake. I wouldn't mind playing a sickly little puppy." A look of excitement filled Ethan's eyes. It seemed that he was even happier than I was about the possibility of my novel being turned into a movie. After he finished speaking, he patted me, who was standing there in a daze. "What's wrong? Are you too happy to think straight?" "No, I'm just afraid that the director won't like what I wrote." "Don't worry, it's not a big deal. I'm always very picky when it comes to choosing scripts, and I'm just as picky about novels. I trust my own judgment." Later, Ethan really rented a very nice apartment for me. In his free time, he would also take the time to come and see me,